10850 Old County Road 15, Plymouth, Minnesota 55441. Good evening, Mayor, members of council. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. I appreciate the council's willingness to reconsider the vote for final plat that took place on August 8th. With regard to your vote tonight, we ask you to please follow the Minnesota State statute concerning final plat approval, which requires that if our plat complies with the approved preliminary plat, it is the City Council's official duty to approve the final plat. The specific language is that if the final plat complies with the approved preliminary plat, the Council shall approve the final plat. The 2-2 vote on August 8th did not comply with what the Minnesota statute requires. The 2-2 vote on August 8th is problematic for us for a number of reasons. The Lake Elmo City Attorney has been proactive in helping us memorialize the city's position on the 2-2 vote in writing. On August 10th, the City Attorney, Ms. Sarah Sensala, sent us a letter that stated that since there was a 2-2 vote, the application was neither approved nor denied, and that upon the expiration of a 60-day period, the plat would be considered approved by operation of state law. The 60-day period cited in the letter would expire on September 11th. This is problematic for the following reasons. Our attorneys, and perhaps more importantly, our lending institution's attorneys, do not feel that it is 100% clear that we would automatically have an approval after a 60-day period. They feel it could easily be argued that by not receiving an approval, the final plat was actually denied. This opens the possibility for the city or us as a developer or both to be sued by literally anyone for proceeding with the project after a denial. Because of this concern, our lender is not willing to borrow on the project until we have a definitive approval. Our purchase agreement with the seller requires that we close on the property prior to September 1st, 2018. If we do not close on the property prior to that date, they could cancel our purchase agreement immediately. And fourth, our primary building partner is hesitant to remain committed to the project because of their perception of erratic behavior by the city and delays. If we are not able to proceed with an approval, this builder may cancel their contract with us. This may force us to partner with a national builder, which is not our intent. And lastly, if we are unable to close on the property because we did not receive approval for our final plat, we are required by state law, we would argue that the city is liable for damages. We are land developers. We make our money developing land, not by suing cities. We have no interest in suing Lake Elmo. With that said, if we suffer additional damages, we will obviously have little choice. With grading the site, engineering, and other costs, we already have close to $3 million invested in this project. If the city fails to approve our final plat application, as is clearly required by state law, there are statutorily prescribed mandatory recovery of damages resulting from such violation. This includes damages for costs and for loss of profit. Since the city has a $200,000 deductible with the League of Cities for land use matters, I can't imagine the city wants to be exposed to this type of litigation. Frankly, that is why we were surprised that the plat wasn't approved on August 8th. Further, since the city only carries what I believe to be a $1.5 million in insurance coverage, the damages that we would suffer would well exceed the amount of insurance the city carries. Since I didn't speak about the project on August 8th, I would briefly like to touch on the attributes of our project. Since the project is a PUD, we were able to get an additional roughly 18 units over what we would have if we went straight zoning. In exchange for these additional 18 units, we are providing 10.2 acres of buffer around the perimeter of the site, which is actually more acreage than if we had done a straight 100 feet around the project. 7,675 lineal feet of trails within the site, just shy of 1.5 miles of trails. Provided additional open space areas such as a play field that is almost the size of a full football field, actually it's bigger, and a private pool, clubhouse, sport court, playground area that costs in excess of $1 million. The neighborhood provides us both public and private trails and a nice variety of product types. With this PUD, we are getting no park credit or fee credit for any of the trails or for any of the buffer space provided to the adjacent neighbors. If we were to go straight zoning, we would be expecting park and trail credit for up to $1.2 million. Instead, we're getting zero for what is being installed in this development. We're receiving park credit for land adjacent to Reed Park, as mentioned earlier, that we purchased and deeded over to the city over a year ago in anticipation of this project. It's 6.5 acres of land that was highlighted in the comprehensive plan, targeted as an area for future acquisition by the city to add to the existing park, and that was approved by both the Parks Commission and the City Council. Prior to this meeting, we have had 2 Park Commission meetings, 3 Planning Commission meetings, 5 City Council meetings prior to tonight. And prior to tonight, we have had 10 public meetings about this development over the course of a couple years. This is in addition to countless staff meetings and phone calls, neighborhood meetings and phone calls, and meetings and phone conversations with City Council members. We have worked very hard to be transparent and accommodating to input from all stakeholders. We have made several compromises. And I believe have worked productively with all parties. Additionally, we initiated, engineered, and partnered with the city to construct the sewer pipe extension all the way from Reed Park, over a mile, to provide a near-term solution for the failing shared septic system in the hamlet of Sunfish Lake. I will point out that during this entire process, after countless invitations to meet, unfortunately we never once met with council members Fleeflet or Lundgren. At no time did either council member, Fleeflet or Lundgren, offer any specific actionable input or feedback to make the project better or more appealing to the community. We appreciate the meetings, phone conversations, and feedback with Mayor Pearson and council members Boyer and Nelson. All 3 advocated for the community and challenged us to do better. They asked for and got additional screening, more buffer, more trails, better amenities, and foresighted architecture. In all cities around the metro, we meet with council members who support our projects and those who do not. The conversations are productive for both sides and usually lead to better projects. With a project that brings over $160 million in development to the city of Lake Elmo, once all the homes are built, we are disappointed that we were unable to meet with all of the council members. We would like to have a 5-0 vote tonight approving the final plat of this project. I fully understand, and it is duly noted on public record, that not all council members support the project. However, it is clear that it is in the best interest of the city to follow Minnesota law and approve the final plat. When you were sworn in as council members, city council members, you took an oath to support the Constitution of the state of Minnesota and to discharge faithfully the duties as a council member of Lake Elmo. Nowhere in the state statute or in the signed oath does it have an asterisk that says you can decide not to follow the law if it happens to be in an election year. I ask that you please vote accordingly. I stand for any questions.